Hello there.
Hi, Hayden. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
What's the weather doing today in New Zealand?
Gloomy and blustery.
Like your personality.
Yeah, spitting as well, like I'd like to do on you.
We're about to do a live show in Chicago, and I'm just wondering what Chicago means to you.
Oh. Do I get to is there going to be a little live reaction to that one?
Don't let the people of Chicago down. They're listening right now.
Chicago. Why do you do this where it's just like word association with the city? Because now I'm just going to be like, deep dish pizza. That them? Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, Luke Longley, Phil Jackson. Who else was on those teams? Zach Levine. He was there as well. And there's a cold, very cold, and Sufjan Stevens song named after it, called Chicago. Go to Chicago, all things go, all things go.
I feel like you associate it with so much sport. I've just got bits of pop culture, like I feel like The Dark Knight was shot there, and maybe the Fugitive, that old Harrison Ford film, and ER was Chicago.
I find it weird that they shot The Dark Knight there instead of New York, where I thought Batman is meant to be. Well, Gotham is sort of New York, isn't it? So congrats to Chicago on snaking that one, probably with tax breaks or something. I love all of you up there. You're so close to Canada, you can almost sniff it.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
1, 2, 3, 4. Flightless, 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 flightless bird touchdown in America. Flightless bird touchdown in America. Flightless bird touchdown in America. Flightless bird touchdown in America.
You going to have some now?
I think so. I was going to put it up there on our little table, but then I thought, that's too far away. It's so funny. Malort is so deeply in your veins, and I appreciate it so much. I've had a bit of it now since Rob introduced me to this delicious drink, and I got to say, I think it's underrated. I think it's great.
Yeah, you drank some willingly in the dressing room.
I did. You were concerned. You said, You're starting too early, David. Get off that. But as a Bailey's man, it is a bit of a shock to the senses, my lord. But I'm enjoying it. Thanks for coming out. You're fucking wonderful. Thank you. We're very glad to be here. I know someone is apparently celebrating a wedding anniversary, which is insane. Why did you come here? I'm so sorry, but congratulations. That's good. Something that happened this morning, because I'm always sort of curious about how cities work. I went and Rob and I purchased a bit of taxidermy a few days ago, and I struggle with this word, it's a squirrel. And it has its little fingers up in a giving the finger scenario, and it just says at the bottom, fuck you. And I bought this, and I thought, because I'm doing a bit more travel, and I went to ship it today, and I went into, what's your shipping place?
UPS store.
UPS. And I had it in a little box. I'd sort of pre-packed it, and I took it in, and I said, can I... And I sort of turned it to them, and the man leapt back, like horrified. And I was like, no, it's dead. And then he was still horrified, and I said, I didn't kill it. Like, it's taxidermy. And he was still, like, deeply scared of me. And I don't know if you've had this. It's almost my first situation where I've really scared someone. Like, I felt like I was holding a gun.
You were so giddy when it happened, too.
I felt the power.
You sent me a voice message, which you never do. And there was so much excitement in your voice.
I was excited, and then he turned to his colleague who was on the other side of the UPS store and said, this man has like a dead animal. And I turned this little guy to her, and she screamed, and she like ran into the back room. Anyway, to cut a long story short, you can't ship taxidermy at UPS. I walked to FedEx. They wouldn't do it either. And like, this is a country, like, I imagine you're shipping guns willy-nilly, but this little fuck you guy is a big no-no, which just blew my mind.
I've shipped a lot of taxidermy. It's not true.
Maybe it's just the city. Chicago hates taxidermy. And I'll just say, this was killed. There's a man in Alabama who makes these. He is in a wheelchair. He finds roadkill, and he does stuff like this. So it's not like he's going around slaying. I don't love these creatures because they almost gave me rabies, but ethically taxidermied. We, in every show in a city, we sort of do a bit of an about town. And this has been particularly exciting because, Rob, this is your fucking town.
This is... Yeah. So we took a few more days here. We've been here since Monday, you since Friday.
Yeah, and for the record, I love this city. It's my first time. It's fucking great. Legitimate, I get it. I understand.
So we kicked off our tour, though, visiting kind of my 20s.
This was like a very specific tour I got of your city.
This was my first apartment when I was 18 on Division Street.
It's above a Starbucks, very American.
But across the street from a halfway house, owned by the man that owns a liquor store bar next door.
It's a synergy. It's a synergy built in heaven.
Very Chicago. Right down the street from Shit Fountain.
Totally normal. It's a great thing to have.
Apparently just a reminder to pick up your shit.
I mean, so the artist, I think, lives in the house?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this.
Had to take David to the music box.
Yeah. I actually got this guy, if you want one of these, the store next door, they have like a little like DVD, VHS center, and they sell these guys as well.
And then the Metro. Had to go to the Metro.
History.
This was my second apartment. I moved over to Bucktown on Webster.
Any particular memories from that house? Was there anything that sort of jumps out? It looks a bit scary, the attic. It looks haunted.
The attic was haunted. We had a couch in front of the door that went up to the attic, and we never went up there.
This is incredible.
This was a band house, and they were on tour most of the year, so I just had it to myself most of the time.
Oh, amazing.
This was my next apartment on Levitt.
Just been me driving around with Rob, going to his old apartments from like years ago.
And then another one on Medill. All three of these are within like a half mile of each other in Bucktown. We really like the area.
In the show notes for this episode, we'll put the addresses so you two can do a tour of Rob's old apartments.
Yeah, if you want to put plaques up or something, feel free.
A new shit like fountain.
But the map room, they're all right around the corner from the map room. Great bar. Mindy's, which amazing restaurant, now turned bakery.
I bought a big like tub of hot chocolate powder, which I'm going to devour very soon.
Facets, had to pop over the Facets, spent a lot of time renting videos here.
Yeah, I mean, you're a music and movie nerd, so this sort of stuff is your heaven, right?
Yep. And then David has never had deep dish pizza. So, can anyone tell where this is from? Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
You passed the test. We're going to do a separate episode on deep dish. We've been recording a lot of eating. And the fridge, when we leave our Airbnb tomorrow, the fridge is just like stacked with boxes of like, because you can't finish this shit when you order, right?
It's deep dish pizza with 1.5 slices gone.
Yeah, our fridge is horrific. It's just boxes of deep dish not finished. Horrific.
Here's David taking a big bite.
It was good. I mean, I'm so greasy right now. I've formed like new pimples on my face. It's great. But tasty.
I had to take him over to United Center.
Yeah.
Which we kind of had to break into.
We did. There's some country music festival you have on at the moment, and it's taken over the whole block. We kind of had to sneak in just to get that close.
And then we just hit up kind of all the tourist spots around the city.
Yeah.
So Nuts
You're
on
a good
Clark,
guide.
went to Wrigley, to the White Sox Stadium.
Yeah. What a time.
Went to the White Sox game.
I mean, I'm not a sports guy, and I feel like I am slowly becoming a sports guy, like via osmosis through Robert over here. And I mean, fuck, they made us jumpers. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. We met Southpaw.
What is Southpaw? Like, parrot, dinosaur, mutant?
He's a monster.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
He's some sort of like monstrous freak.
Yeah.
He had a very good handshake. I have to say, like, very solid.
David had a Chicago hot dog for the first
time. First one.
Do you want to tell us how you felt?
I felt good about it. I mean, the order of like choosing like the things that go in was like very specific. And I will note, look, I don't want to like shame you on stage here, but I did notice that you did not include the tomato in there.
I didn't.
Boo! Yeah, boo! Boo! I did. Therefore, I would argue potentially I am more of a Chicagonite than you.
I've had it with tomato.
Not yesterday.
Not yesterday.
Just want to say, it was delicious. It's the Pope.
We had to visit the Pope section.
He hasn't come out as like a massive creep yet, so I felt okay with this photo. If he does turn out to be like a massive creep, like a lot of the Catholic Church, then we will be scrubbing that photo from the internet. So just let's keep that on the down low.
And then...
Big. I noticed a lot of these people had big shoulders, and I just wanted to puff myself up a little bit. And I think I did well.
We also took something here, right?
We did. I mean, I couldn't take my eyes off it, and I was like, we've got to have this at our live show. And so Rob sort of hauled it into the back of the car. We've got this guy. I mean, the team's not aware that we have this. It also feels like we're sponsored by the White Sox. We're not. Like, we've still got to do ads for better help and beds and shit. But it does feel like we are being sponsored by the team.
But does anyone want a White Sox shirt?
Yeah. They're amazing.
Whoop.
They looked after us so well, and honestly, it's nice to be invited into that world, and they were great. So, go Sox. Right? Is that what you say?
Go White Sox. Yeah.
Go White Sox. Go White Sox.
David was very confused by this place.
Like Jewel Osco? Jewel Osco? Like I said, I turned to Rob and I was like, what the fuck is that?
It's our
and
grocery
the
store.
Jewel is the supermarket, the Osco is the chemist?
The pharmacy, yeah.
It makes sense. Yeah, in New Zealand we call a pharmacy a chemist. It's
yeah. And we got photobombed by some kids on a scooter.
They loved it. Jewel Osco loved it. Bean. I mean, what can I say about the bean? I went under it and looked up. It was a real trip. I felt like I was tripping. Great tourist spot. You can take a selfie in there. Have you heard of the bean?
Well, we took a fun rickshaw to the bean.
We did. Yeah, it was a horrific experience. It was like
a lot of techno music.
Techno the entire way. I felt the most obnoxious I've ever felt in my entire life. Horrible.
And then we went on an architecture boat tour, which was incredible.
It was dope. People say, like, a lot of you emailed in to say what to do when we were here, and a lot of the touristy stuff ends up being terrible. This was one of the best experiences of my life. It was beautiful, and your city is beautiful, and I loved it. If you haven't done this tour, it's worth it. It's pretty magical, and yeah.
Try to get Kevin. He plays the harmonica.
Yeah, Kevin was great. He did panic when a woman was, like, dangling her baby, like, off the side. And he was like, he stopped the tour and he was like, could you please bring your baby back off the water? And we all turned and judged her. It was actually like really embarrassing. She was lovely and it was great, but yeah, don't dangle your baby over the side, Michael Jackson style.
David also started doing this thing where he just points at things when we take photos now.
It's my new thing. Yeah. Buildings. These are some of your buildings that you have here in Chicago.
The Sears Tower.
Oh, what a building. Oh, my God. Look at that. Big aerials on the top. Okay. The International Museum of Surgical Science. Have you been there? Yeah, this place is amazing. I like it because it feels a bit like someone's like weird house as opposed to an actual museum. But this piece in particular I liked because I posted it and two friends messaged me. Well, actually, friends is a stretch. Acquaintances. Saying like we're about to have a C-section in like a month. And they regretted me posting that and seeing it. But the Museum of Surgical Sciences, it's sort of like the best of Eastern and Western medicine all on display, and it's really creepy and enticing and great. And I think it was like my highlight of your city. I love this place. I'm like an inside goth, so this was my happy place. The other thing I did, I jumped in your lake, which was so good because it was so like fucking hot. And then I realized when I was in there that when we were making the Tickle documentary in 2015, I had been on the other side of that same lake in this little like tiny town called Muskegon, which was its own like terrifying place. Oh, sorry, someone's from Muskegon. I loved Muskegon. It was beautiful, idyllic, great, best place I've been. But yes, same lake. And from New Zealand, like, we have ocean. Like, we have lakes, obviously, but if you're going to go for a swim, you go in the ocean. And it just amazed me that I could, like, jump in a lake that felt like an ocean, and then I remembered that I was on the other side of that lake, and it was frozen. I've got no big point. It was just, it's a big lake, and it blows my mind that it can be sunny and beautiful, and then also be like a frozen wasteland. And I thought that was pretty cool. I love your lake.
Yeah, and you love that it wasn't salt water.
No saltiness. I swallowed some of the water accidentally. Probably a bad move. I'm still here. I think the deep dish grease kills any potential like germs I had in me. And yeah, it was an overall thumbs up to your lake. Thank you.
Do we want to share what we discovered about the venue when we walked in here?
We must. So this venue, we're here obviously. There's been like a lot of amazing artists that have performed on this stage, and also this. Yeah. We are the best, shuffling crew, shuffling on down, doing it for you. We're so bad, we know we're good. Blowing your mind like you would. You know we're just strutting for fun, strutting our stuff for everyone. We're not here to start no trouble. We're just here to do the Super Bowl show.
Well, they call me Sweetness, and I like to dance. Running the ball is like making more dance. We had to go since training camp to give Chicago a Super Bowl champ. And we're not doing this because we're greedy. The Bears are doing it to feed the needy. We didn't come here to look for trouble. We just come here to do the Super Bowl show.
This is Speedy Willie, and I'm world class. I like running, but I love to get the pass.
All right, I think that's enough.
Same place. Who knew that this was the place where they did this? Who didn't know? Well, you've learned something. This is great.
Chicago has a lot of amazing sports songs.
A lot of them.
This is one of them.
Yeah, no, it blows my mind, and I can't believe it. Apparently it was like a very like boozed up, like last-minute affair. And I love that we're on the same stage this iconic performance took place. Like, what a song. We're going to move into a section now called, look, we know Florida Man. It's time for Chicago Man. Because you do have Chicago Man. First headline that jumped out at me, a Chicago man who gained notoriety for riding a horse on the Dan Ryan Expressway was charged with setting up an illegal bar and strip club. I'm just going to read briefly from this. Adam Hollingsworth, 37. How old are you?
37.
Wow, there you go. Must be Sim. Is charged with maintaining a common nuisance, a level 6 felony, and misdemeanor selling alcohol without a permit, according to the probable cause affidavit. Police interviewed Lake Ridge Volunteer Fire Department Assistant Chief Dennis Carlito, who said that the department is tasked with issuing, God, this is such a boring story. Sometimes you start reading this stuff and you're like, why didn't the local reporter sex it up slightly? You've got a guy riding a horse down a freeway. All I'll say is that this is why you should read the articles before you start talking about them. He pleaded guilty to animal cruelty and was sentenced to 1 year in prison in January of 2022, court records read. He was also arrested later in 2023 after police caught him riding his horse again on the 7,000 block of the Indianapolis Boulevard, court records state. I mean, once you've ridden a horse on a freeway, I think you basically don't stop. There was then a domestic disturbance at the Cowgirl Den. Do you know the Cowgirl Den? Apparently it's here somewhere. When police responded, he informed them that he had paid dancers performing inside. Individuals were drinking alcohol. Police were sent a video of him again on a horse. He hasn't learned his lesson. He's still to this day riding a horse. Second headline that jumped out. A Chicago man who sued dozens of women who allegedly badmouthed him on a Facebook dating page has been sentenced to a year in federal prison. A Chicago man who filed a defamation lawsuit against dozens of women. Are you here tonight, man on this one? A Chicago man who filed a defamation lawsuit against dozens of women he accused of trash-talking him in a Are We Dating the Same Guy Facebook chat group. Have you been to that Facebook page, by the way? It's fucking amazing. It's just like a bunch of dudes talking to a lot of women using the same lines and being horrific. Nicky D'Ambrosio, 32, learned his fate this week. He was convicted of 2 counts of false statements on his tax documents from 2020 and 2021. He claimed expenses and deductions for charitable donations to a church that had no record of him being a registered church-going member. He apologized, and I quote, "I've established myself as a good family man," he said. "I go to church. I'm loyal to my faith." That doesn't mean a lot in America these days, does it? I love this. One of his attorneys said the case wasn't about greed, it's about stupidity. I don't mean to disparage my client in any way, but as you can see from his educational records, he's not the most sophisticated human being. It's like when your attorney gives up on you, it's like you know you've had it.
Is that the argument they give?
Yeah, that was it. It didn't work. But you're basically, my client's a fucking idiot. That was the argument. Our third headline, Chicago man wears White Sox cap to work. Can you see where this is going?
It's not me.
It's not you. Chicago man, Pope Leo XIV, the world's most famous White Sox fan, was photographed on Wednesday donning the team's hat during a public appearance at the Vatican. The quote from White Sox rookie reliever Grant Taylor, "It's pretty cool." That was the end of the article. Our final Chicago area man loses $10,000 to cryptocurrency scam by Elon Musk impersonator. And when you see his face, I feel a bit for him. It's like every white man's dad. Just a bit old and a bit just struggling a little bit. Richard Lyons thought he was investing with the world's richest man. The Vietnam vet made a fake Elon Musk on social media. Then there were dozens and dozens of direct messages back and forth. He kept wanting me to invest, and I saw that his name was Elon Musk, Lyons said. So I thought to myself, okay, it's the richest guy. You can't fault this logic. It's the richest guy in the world, supposed to know what he's doing. Well, then he started asking me for money to invest in his company, and I started sending it. That's basically the end of it. He lost $10,000. Apparently there's 9 billion lost every year to scams like this. So if you do have parents, I would have a word to them and just say hey, don't
use the internet.
Don't use the internet. Just unplug it, basically, is the way to do things. Legitimately, have any of you had grandparents or parents that have dealt with this shit? Yeah, it's horrific. Unplug them from the internet. All right. It's on to the main meat in this Chicago sandwich. Earlier this week, I had 2 Tylenol tablets because I had a headache that wouldn't go away. Been drinking too much, my lord. As you'll be aware, there are a bunch of features on these bottles that make them incredibly tamper-proof, but the bottles weren't always tamper-proof, and we have the beautiful city of Chicago to blame for this. Because back in 82, the year I was born, the bottles could be opened incredibly easily, and somebody here in Chicago started lacing Tylenol pills with cyanide, leading to the fairly rapid deaths of at least 7 people. A manhunt was carried out, leading to a variety of suspects, the main one being an objectively creepy-looking guy called James Lewis. The police suspected he was responsible because he had sent a letter pretending to be someone else, attempting to extort Johnson & Johnson for $1 million. James is a truly fascinating, arrogant, horrific kind of character. He also faced other extortion and rape charges, and he's our guest here tonight. That was a gag. He died in 2023, with no one officially able to pin the killings on him. But the last interview he ever gave was to a 3-part Netflix series called Cold Case, The Tylenol Murders. The executive producer of that series is a man called Joe Berlinger. Joe is one of my favorite documentary makers. He's a big part of the reason I attempt to make documentaries sometimes. And about 25 years ago in New Zealand, I illegally downloaded his Paradise Lost trilogy of films. Who has seen Paradise Lost? If you haven't seen it, you're in for a treat after this. Made over 2 decades, they looked at a group of teens nicknamed the West Memphis Three, who had been wrongfully convicted of killing 3 children, mostly because America was in the grip of a satanic panic. They were goth kids in the town, and that's why they got convicted. Joe went on to make so much stuff. Another favorite of mine, Some Kind of Monster, a truly deranged documentary about Metallica. This is the longest introduction I've ever done for a guest, but it's because I love them so fucking much. More recently, he made the Ted Bundy tapes for Netflix, and not being content with that, he went and made a drama as well, starring Zac Efron. In short, to stop me rambling on, this is a man who not only knows the genre of true crime, but helped define it, although he'll probably explain he tends to bristle at the words true crime. Filmmaker Joe Berlinger. Joe, thank you so much for being here.
What a nice intro. Thank you.
As I was reading it, sometimes I write these things and alone there, I'm like, this is good, but then you're reading them and I'm like, God, I'm just going on, aren't I? But I feel like you needed that because you've done so much stuff.
I thought it was a little short, though.
I could go longer.
No, good.
Honestly, I emailed you about coming and doing the show, and I was delighted when you agreed to turn up here tonight. Thank you. You're from out of town.
Well, I'm a big fan of yours, big fan of the podcast.
Fuck, thank you.
Big fan of Dark Tourist.
Oh, thank you.
And actually, I love Chicago, so any excuse to come to Chicago, I truly love the place. I've haven't been in since before the pandemic, but there was a time in my career that I came here a lot. And
I think you said one of your Brothers Keeper, one of your earliest docs, was at the Music Box.
Oh yeah, one of the best screenings we had of our self-distributed first film in '92, Brothers Keeper, was at the Music Box. It was just people were hanging out of the rafters for that screening. And Paradise Lost also we self-distributed theatrically before it went on to HBO. And Music Box came through again. You know, it's a good movie town, Chicago.
Now, I know, Tylenol Murders was my excuse to get you here because, this is a case that I'd never heard about before this documentary that you EP'd. I know you didn't direct this thing, but you were this God's eye view over this whole production. I'm just curious, you've told so many stories that are all, about different, quite strange aspects of America. As far as, the Tylenol Murders went, on that project, what is, something that has stuck with you from that? Because all I can think of is your main suspect who you had on camera who had these little nubby teeth and he was just such an intense character.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe he was on screen.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was one of the things that made it so fascinating was people have tried to get him to do an interview for years, and the team that we made the film with, I should say, the 2 Israeli filmmakers brought me the project, Yotam Gundelman and Ari Pines, and they were able to secure this interview. And I thought it was a fantastic opportunity. The other thing that I love about this case, you know, as it's literally one of the few times where I actually, you know, we made a show, but I really don't know what happened. You know, James Lewis could be the guy, but I'm not sure he is. You know, he did some terrible things: rape, murder of one of his clients when he was an accountant. He did some terrible things. He wrote the extortion letter, but I'm not convinced he did it. There's also some evidence, but it's not rock solid, that maybe J&J was too quick to bat away the idea that something might have happened in the factory or along the distribution channel. So there is some evidence to say that maybe it was an inside job and James Lewis isn't guilty. It's truly, you know, an unsolved crime for all these years. You know, if the FBI, after 40 years of really looking into James Lewis, couldn't crack the case, you know, it's fascinating to me.
There's this really incredible bit in the doc I watching was so convinced that this man had done it, because, I mean, look at him. He just seems like the guy, and you know something about his history by then. But then when you have this revelation that Johnson & Johnson has cyanide on site and they're testing their medication for cyanide, and you've got this really amazing line in the doc where they're like, yeah, if you're testing for cyanide in your products, that's like a real red flag right there.
And you know, when this first happened, they came out and said, no, there's no cyanide, and then they corrected themselves a little later. So they were too quick to dismiss, you know, their huge brand. You know, this was the brand that was making that company so much money. And they were just too quick to dismiss anything that would tarnish the brand. So I think they made some mistakes there. And cyanide is used in R&D and quality control, and they died of cyanide poisoning. On the other hand, the inside job is not completely plausible because the focus was Chicago. You know, it wasn't like there was nationwide victims. So yeah, it's just one of these great unsolved mysteries with little bits of info that point in different directions. But man, is James a great character for a documentary.
And I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, he's like this dream come true to be on screen.
Yeah.
Did you, Rob, growing up, did you know about this, Rob, in the city?
No. I asked my parents, though, and they remember it
You're
happening.
right.
Yeah.
Was it scary for them?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Nonplussed about the whole thing?
But it was Jewel and Osco that some of the pills came from.
Holy shit. Yeah.
And a Dominic's.
It is the case, you know, most young people don't realize prior to Tylenol, we did not have seals on our medication. It's because of that case that you're like struggling with getting medication open, you know, now. So.
Well, and they made the move to solid tablets after this, too.
Exactly.
It's insane. I'm just glad. I had some Tylenol, as I say, a couple of days ago, and after watching the doc, I was thinking, like, this is just such... You go to this product for relief, and the idea that you're going to die is just such a trip. So thank you, Chicago, for making us terrified of cyanide. Joe, just like zooming out, when you got into this space, am I right, like Brothers Keeper was your first thing, right? Yeah. Like your first like main doc?
Yes. Do we know Brothers Keeper? Yes? Okay. All right, good.
Just like Cliff Notes?
Yeah, it's the story of 4 dairy farming brothers who all slept in the same bed together, lived like people might have lived 200 years ago in a shack with no electricity. One of the brothers, this is in upstate New York, one of the brothers was accused of murdering his other brother. These are guys in their 60s. The state police came and got a confession out of him. It seemed, you know, like he was the killer, other than the fact that he was illiterate, didn't understand what he was signing, and not that intelligent. And the town, the community, even though they had treated these guys as pariahs, you know, these crazy old hillbillies living up in the hills of this little town called Munnsville, even though the town was a little leery of them prior to this incident, the town believed that the state police had coerced a false confession, which was not a known concept in those days, had coerced a false confession out of somebody who didn't understand what he was signing. And they rallied beautifully. It was such a touching thing to witness. They rallied to his defense and held fundraisers and showed up in court every day, and we followed the case from, the arraignment through the trial. And luckily in this instance, unlike Paradise Lost, the system worked here and the guy was acquitted eventually. Paradise Lost is kind of the inverse image of that, It was just a magical time. We shot the film on 16 millimeter because if you wanted to release a documentary in movie theaters in 1990, you had to shoot on film, because there was no such thing as digital. So we were no-budget filmmakers. I should mention I made this with my longtime filmmaking partner, Bruce Sinofsky, who sadly passed away about a decade ago. But, documentaries weren't what they are today. It was a big commitment to decide to make a documentary because if you're shooting on 16 millimeter film, every 10 minutes of footage that you shoot, by the time you buy the roll of film, buy the separate soundtrack, go out and film, take it to the lab, take the sound to one lab, the film footage to the next lab. A week later, you're sitting over your flatbed machine, physically editing, because digital editing didn't exist yet. Every 10 minutes of footage that you shoot would cost you $400, Just, imagine that. And so deciding to make a film in that era was a huge leap of faith. There was the only games in town were HBO and PBS. Streaming was not even a grain of a thought back then. And somehow we just had faith that we wanted to follow this crazy story as it was unfolding. We maxed out 15 credit cards. I was 28 at the time. My filmmaking partner was 5 years older than me. He put a second mortgage on his home. We literally gambled everything. And somehow, miraculously, it was invited to Sundance, and it won a prize there, and it established our careers. But again, in an era, thank you. This was in an era where, documentaries were kind of very PBS focused, historical looks back, talking head interviews, all of which is good. I'm not criticizing that style of filmmaking, but this whole idea of just following a story as it's unfolding and being ambiguous about the outcome in terms of, some people look at the film and think he might have done it. Some people look at the film and think he was innocent, but it's this cinema verite immersion that I found so amazing, that we were borrowing from there were these great this is probably like too in the weeds, but there was these great cinema verite filmmakers in the 60s, the Maisel brothers, Robert Drew, Penny Baker. They all made these incredible films just following real life as it unfolded, which sounds so basic and obvious now, but back then that was a new idea. And in the 80s, documentary kind of felt like a spoonful of castor oil, like good for you, going down, but not very tasty.
No, it's so boring, not entertaining at all.
Yeah. And so there was a small group of us, we weren't like a school that we were all talking to each other, but there was just kind of this explosion of activity in the late 80s, early 90s. Errol Morris with Thin Blue Line, Michael Moore with Roger and Me, Bruce and I with Brothers Keeper, and we were all trying in our own way to push the boundaries of what a documentary could be, that it can be entertaining, that it can have an original music score, which was unheard of back then because, you can't have music in your documentary because that's not journalistic. It manipulates people's emotions, We started doing interesting opening title sequences like any scripted fiction film.
Which everyone is so used to now.
Yeah,
we all know this and it's accepted, but that wasn't always a thing.
That wasn't the way it was.
I feel like everything I read about you in the press is like, everything is like, this is the man who is like responsible for true crime. And it's kind of true, because you took the form and you made it compelling and interesting, and your work was always involved with advocacy, and like there was a reason behind it.
Yeah.
But also you have sort of popularized this genre, too many syllables in the way I said popularized, that just has turned into this whole new thing. I'm wondering like how you feel about the genre now that you sit in, because that's a trip.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Yes, I'm often referred to as a true crime pioneer. I like the pioneer part. The true crime kind of gives me the willies. I don't like that phrase associated with my work, and yet I understand why it is. The reason is that true crime, that phrase, suggests that we are wallowing in the misery of others for simply a storytelling experience, when in fact these stories are about the worst moment in somebody's life, like real tragedy, real victims. And so I think some of the stuff that's done is really irresponsible. Some of the tone of some podcasts about crime, I think, are irresponsible to the victim. There is a lot of stuff that is made that has no social justice component to it. So I always ask myself, what is the needle I can move from a social justice standpoint in telling a true crime story? And I don't think every true crime producer does that.
They definitely don't. They absolutely don't.
For a long time, my focus on, I consider myself a social justice filmmaker who has spent a lot of time telling stories about crime in the criminal justice system. Not that I'm a true crime guy. Even the serial killer stuff, I ask myself, what needle can I move by telling this story? And the serial killer stuff is particularly polarizing. There's a whole group of people who think that you should not tell the story of a serial killer. You should not, give these people a platform. And I'm always, if it's done responsibly, I'm always confused by that attitude, because unfortunately, killing and murder is part of the human condition. And we would never say, oh, don't make films about adultery, don't make films about greed, don't make films about, whatever. We should make films about these terrible situations if there's some needle to move. And, I'm very proud that my work has literally gotten 6 people out of prison, not just the West Memphis 3, but thank you. Not just the West Memphis 3, but 3 other cases my work has impacted. And I should say the real heroes are all the behind-the-scenes defense attorneys and investigators. Those are the people who really get people out of prison.
But do you know, I don't mean to jump in, but for me this is so surreal, because I illegally downloaded your Paradise Lost films in New Zealand 25 years ago, watched them, fell in love with documentary. Years later, I was in a chemist, or whatever you call it in America, a pharmacy or whatever, and Damien Eccles was in there.
Oh, wow.
And if you don't know, Damien Eccles was one of these young men that was sentenced to the death penalty purely for his musical taste. His films got him off death row, literally. And yeah, I bumped into him. And it was I get goosebumps thinking about it, because it was one of the most surreal experiences of my life. I said, didn't annoy him. I said, I'm great. What the fuck did I say? This is probably what I did. I was just But it was surreal, and that's you.
Well, a lot of people helped get him out too, but the films were the catalyst. That's definitely true. But, I just think there is a lot of irresponsible true crime storytelling that has really undermined the genre, and there are people who just think you shouldn't tell these stories, and I just disagree. I mean, my films have also identified victims of serial killers, and that the only thing worse than losing a loved one is, to murder, is not knowing what happened to that loved one. And closure is a funny word. People never, you can never get over such a horrific trauma if it happens to a loved one, but it's at least provide some closure to actually know what happened. So I always ask myself, what needle can I move? And I've turned stories down that I feel like there's no needle to move. I've canceled shows when victims have made it clear to me they don't want. I mean, we just canceled. We were pursuing. I want to be respectful to the family, but there's a very famous disappearance case, and we were getting ready to do season 3 of Cold Case about it, and the family reached out after they had changed their mind, and they said, look, we really don't want this. For the sake of the children of the victim, we don't want this done, and so I canceled the show. I actually had a script. I actually had a scripted show. Thank you. I optioned a book called Facing the Wind by Julie Solomon in the This is like 15 years ago. And it's a terrible story of a guy who is the life of the neighborhood, a really caring, wonderful guy. People looked up to him, but he lost his shit, killed his entire family, put his head in an oven, and was about to kill himself. When he was pulled out and saved, he is sent to Creedmoor Psychiatric Center in New York, where everyone thinks he's going to spend the rest of his life in a psych ward because he pled guilty by reason of insanity, which was very popular in the late 70s. Everyone thought he was going to spend the rest of his life in the psychiatric center, not prison. That was the point. And within 2 years, he had convinced everyone that he was fine. He was let out. Ooh. He married another woman. And the book is about the experience of this woman. We had written a script. We had Evan Rachel Wood, Vera Farmiga, and Alessandra Nivola cast. I mean, you can Google it. You can Google Facing the Wind. You'll see this movie was like ready to go. And somebody in that story reached out to me and said, you will destroy my life if I've moved, I have a new job, you will destroy my life if you make this movie. And I had multiple conversations, and I said, it's kind of late in the process to telling me this. But I felt the sincerity, and I pulled the plug on the movie, So Jesus. That's but there are times when, victims want these stories to be told, and people have this knee-jerk reaction. Oh, you're being terrible to the victims. You're traumatizing the victims. Sometimes victims want these stories to be told, So anyway, I don't know what I'm rambling about.
No, respect for pulling the plug, because most people would take the money and would say, like, screw the victim and carry on. So that's huge respect to that.
Yeah.
I have, as a podcaster, we like to make things about ourselves. So I'm about to do that now, and I apologize. Dark Tourist, which you've watched, which is quite funny.
Great show.
Weirdly, I just realized this when I was I put the pieces together when I was Googling and sort of researching having you here. In Dark Tourist, I met Wendy Petrikis, who was one of the defense attorneys for Jeffrey Dahmer. And in Dark Tourist, we had like a 10-second clip of her interviewing Dahmer and put it to air. And then a couple of years later, I circled back to her and I was like, oh my God, Wendy, you have all the tapes of your interviews with Dahmer. I attempted to get them. I was completely incompetent and didn't. And I realize now, of course, that you achieved that. Yes. And that was the entire, your documentary was based on that.
Yeah.
Second to that, Zac Efron was in the dramatized version of that documentary. And when Dark Tourist got cancelled, I went to Netflix and for the cancellation meeting. And they basically said to me, David, Netflix, we just don't have the budget for more travel documentaries. 2 weeks later, Zac Efron, he had a travel show.
Zac Efron.
And it all comes together.
You watched it, though. It's great.
It was a great show. Yeah. It was a great show, and he's fucking hot. But anyway, my point is, I wanted to talk about the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes briefly because that was this really fascinating thing where you made this this 3-part documentary and then almost at the same time this incredible narrative about the whole thing.
That was Bundy.
Oh, sorry, Bundy.
I mean, I did do conversations. I have this ongoing series at Netflix called Conversations with a Killer. The first season was Bundy.
Yes.
And then I also did Zac Efron kind of simultaneously. It's a whole weird set of...
No, my beef extends across your projects.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just curious, with either of those projects, I feel like they were ones where you're focusing on a serial killer. That's where people come out with criticisms as far as what are you doing? What's your purpose? I'm curious your intent coming into those stories.
Yeah, I mean, up until that moment, I was generally getting really nice reviews and good press. My serial killer phase has been met with a lot of polarization, which I sort of understand, but sort of don't based on what I said before. But ironically, the whole thing was just kind of happenstance. It wasn't like some grand design. In 2017-ish, 2018, the author of a book called Ted Bundy, Conversations with a Killer, that came out in 1989, the author of that book called me. He was a fan of Paradise Lost, and he said, hey, I'm cleaning out my office, and I found all of these audio cassettes that I used to interview Ted Bundy, because he interviewed Ted Bundy, I think 1988-ish, 89, right around his execution time. I'm a little hazy on the dates. I think it was 89 he was executed. And it was one of the last interviews of Bundy. And so he sent me, he said, do you think there'd be an interesting documentary out of these tapes? And I said, well, Bundy's kind of a well-worn tire. It's been told so many times. I'm not sure, let me listen to the tapes. So I was sent the tapes, and my team and I thought they were fascinating. Even though he's an unreliable narrator at times and you have to contextualize what he's saying, it was just a very fascinating, unique perspective into the mind of a killer, which I hadn't seen before. So I pitched it to Netflix, not knowing they'd even say yes or that it would do very well. But before I did, and this shows that even back then, I would put through the filter, is there a reason to do this besides just wallowing in the misery of others? Is there some reason to do this? And so it was Thanksgiving, and my two daughters, who are very intelligent young women, one was had just graduated from Columbia. Yes, I'm a proud dad. One had just graduated from Columbia, was on her way to get her master's and PhD at UC Berkeley, and my other daughter was about to enter MIT. So these are two young women who are in the prototypical Bundy victimology profile, because he preyed on, young college women. And I said to both of my daughters, do you know who Ted Bundy is? And neither one of them knew. I said, that's interesting. Go, text some of your friends. And literally, and this is a cohort of very smart people going to Columbia and going to MIT, and this is the 2018. None of these younger people had heard of Ted Bundy. One person thought isn't that a baseball player? So I thought to myself, okay, what is the lesson of Ted Bundy? The lesson of Ted Bundy is that just because somebody is charming and good-looking and persuasive doesn't mean you should just blindly trust them. And that's how a lot of those women went to their deaths, because he was just very trusting. Like he'd show up with a fake cast at the University of Washington and lure a young woman to help him carry his books and things like that. So I thought to myself, okay, if this generation does not know this story, and I have an opportunity to tell this story on a huge global platform like Netflix, that's a good reason to tell the story, to put it out for the next generation as a cautionary tale. And, somehow it actually clicked on Netflix, and it was the #1 show, which I wasn't expecting on Netflix, #1 unscripted show on Netflix. And so they said, give us more. So that's why I have done successive seasons. But around the same time, I was editing. I know this sounds very LA, but I was having lunch with my agent in Los Angeles.
It does sound very LA.
Yes. And I said to my agent, Michael Cooper at CAA, who now is at a company called Range.
It's getting more LA.
I know, very LA.
You're doubling down.
Very LA. I said, boy, I think I'm really onto something. I'm very excited about this Bundy thing. I think this is going to be really powerful and different. And he said, you should read this script. It's on the Hollywood blacklist. For those who don't know, the Hollywood blacklist isn't what it sounds like. The Hollywood blacklist is scripts that are unproduced or have been tried to be produced that people in the business and producers think have potential, but for one reason or the other, they've had trouble getting made. And so he said, there's a really cool script called Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile by, that's a mouthful. The reason for that is that's what the judge said to Bundy when he was sentencing him to death, that his acts were extremely wicked, shockingly evil and vile. That's where the title comes from. But he said, you should read this script. It's been on the Hollywood blacklist for years. People have tried to take a run at it, but, with your knowledge and experience, you might want to read it. I read the script. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it had a flaw to it. I was put in touch with the guy who owns the rights, a guy named Michael Costigan, who's a wonderful producer. And I said, I love this script. The problem with the script is it depends upon the success of the read of the script, depends upon not knowing that this guy named Ted is actually Ted Bundy. You don't learn that until the end of the script. And I said, in this day and age, there's no way that that could be kept secret. So instead of avoiding letting the audience know it's Ted Bundy, let's really lean into the perspective of his girlfriend, played by Lily Collins, ultimately. But let's really lean into the perspective of the girlfriend who, because in real life, he lived with a woman who thought he was the greatest. He was the surrogate father to that woman's child. And lean into her POV because she could not believe that Ted was capable of these things. And let's, not hide from the fact that it's Ted Bundy. Let's really lean into it. And the producer said, great, let's go for it. Somehow Zac Efron raised his hand to his agent, said that he was looking to do something different. I had some concerns at the beginning.
He's my enemy. I had concerns too.
And a lot of people said, "Oh, this is stunt casting, and you're glorifying a killer."
Agreed.
And it's not, though.
No, I know.
Because I remembered the experience of sitting around the Thanksgiving table where my daughters did not know who Ted Bundy was, and if the POV of the movie is. Most people think that serial killers, or we want to think that serial killers look like serial killers all the time, that they emerge from the shadows with, their teeth dripping with blood and they look horrible and evil. And we want to think that that's the truth because somehow we can protect ourselves from the fate of the randomness of becoming a victim of a killer. The truth is, the people who do evil in this world, I've learned in 30 years of covering crime, the people who do evil in this world are the people you most often trust and least expect to be evil. It's the pedophilic priest, the high school coach. The people who do these terrible things are people who violate a position of trust. So who better for this generation that I'm trying to reach than somebody like Zac Efron, who's revered by 22-year-old women, who legions of 22-year-old women think they know who Zac Efron is,
Yeah. And men.
And absolutely.
And David.
And so it wasn't stunt casting. It was the whole concept was to be in the POV of the girlfriend so you can understand the gaslighting experience of what these people do to convince you they're normal when in fact they are horrible people.
Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Mint Mobile. I always wonder if it's mobile or mobile. I think mobile's more American, so I'm going with that. Now, you know what doesn't belong in your epic summer plans? Getting burned by your old wireless bill. While you're planning beach trips, barbecues, and 3-day weekends, your wireless bill should be the last thing that's holding you back. That's why I made the switch to Mint Mobile. With Mint, you can get the coverage and speed that you're used to, but for way less money. And for a limited time, Mint Mobile is offering 3 months of unlimited premium wireless service for $15 a month. So while all your buddies are sweating over data overages and surprise charges, you'll be chilling, both literally and financially. So, say bye to your overpriced wireless plan's jaw-dropping monthly bills and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your old phone number along for the ride, along with all of your existing contacts for less stress. So yeah, as I said earlier, this is delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. If you're like me and you find yourself roaming around the country quite a lot, that is a really good thing. So yeah, I use this and so should you. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get this new customer offer in your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/bird. That's mintmobile.com/bird. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time, new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Flightless Bird is brought to you by Symbiotica. Now, I'm here in Los Angeles, the home of supplements. And seeing this is a podcast about American culture, I thought I'd get in amongst it, and I've been trying Symbiotica, who, as I said earlier, have come on board as a sponsor. If you're anything like me, you'll find it hard to know what to use, which is where Symbiotica comes in. I'm not sure if you could hear that, but that was me spraying some B12 and B6 into my mouth, and it tastes absolutely delicious, like the best berry I've ever had. Symbiotica makes high-quality supplements that you can actually absorb and trust. Some of them are tablets, some of them are spray. I've been trying a lot of them. I've been trying their B12 and B6, which I mentioned before, and also magnesium L-threonate, which helps with your sleep, reduces brain fog, and believe me, I get a very, very foggy brain, and also just has this overall calming effect. Like the berry, it comes in a great flavor, vanilla cream, 10 out of 10 from me. So if, like me, you're looking to try a supplement, get involved with some Symbiotica. Go to symbiotica.com/bird for 20% off plus free shipping. That's symbiotica.com/bird for 20% off plus free shipping. As always, I'm terrible at structuring an interview, and I have so much more I want to talk to you about. I want to do a quick speed round.
Okay.
And we're going to have you back at the end for a Q&A. So if you have questions of things I've missed, get them ready. Just really quickly, I know in talking to you about the Tylenol motors, you're like, oh my God, my brain's already a million miles away from that. There's so many things in my head right now. If you could return to one project or a person that sticks in your brain from your career telling these incredibly strange American stories, who would it be? Just who jumps out as being a true what the fuck was that moment?
I don't know if it's one moment, but I have to say the experience of making Metallica, the experience of making Metallica, Some Kind of Monster, was just an incredible experience because the movie was a happy accident. I was there to film B-roll because they were going into the studio.
Yeah.
And they just wanted a promo film, and we were friends because they had given us music for Paradise Lost.
If you haven't seen this, by the way, Metallica is the most batshit. It's my favorite music documentary ever made. I can't believe Metallica let it be released because it does not paint them in a positive light. It also opened up all these amazing conversations around mental health and what it is to be a famous musician in the limelight. And there's a moment in the documentary that I think about at least once a week where Metallica's therapist, Phil, starts writing his lyric suggestions on a paper napkin for their album and hands it over to them. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, I actually, people say it's not in a favorable light, but actually I think at the end of the day, it's in an extremely favorable light. It took, these icons of male testosterone in a very image-conscious business and took them off their pedestal and made them human beings with problems that they were looking to solve. And I think that was very inspiring to people, that they had the courage, and very metal, to have the courage to allow people to see them in this very vulnerable moment. And that was not the plan when we started the film. It was a giant happy accident that somehow they allowed to happen. And
I agree. It made me like Metallica more as a fan.
Yeah.
I just think it's such a unique thing when you're watching a music documentary and you can see that it's purely a commercial to make these people look as cool as possible.
Yeah, and today the problem with a lot of music films today is that the talent are executive producing it and having editorial control, and it's really just that, a giant promo. This was a film of raw honesty at a band's, darkest hour. We witnessed, there are certain bands that will play forever, that will go on forever, and many bands just die because of dysfunction between the members. And this was the moment where they were going to either, fade away or come together, heal themselves, and continue. And now they're bigger than ever. I mean, they go around the world filling 100,000 seat stadiums routinely every year, and it was just very brave of them to let us in. So that, and I was going through my own existential and creative crisis, and my partner and I weren't getting along as a filmmaking duo. So behind the scenes, we were kind of using this film to heal our own kind of dilemmas.
Did Phil give you any advice, Metallica's therapist?
He wrote us a few lyrics,
Okay. Look, just finally, you have a new doc coming soon. I don't know what you can say about it. Son of Sam.
Yeah, so it's season 4 of Conversations with the Killer. So for the 4th time, people are going to yell at me for giving a platform to a serial killer. But I'm fascinated by this case. And had access to incredible tapes that materialized. And so this is coming out on July 30th on Netflix. It's Conversations with the Killer, the Son of Sam tapes. And I think it's a very cool show.
Hey, just finally, before you go, like I feel like in the 4 years I've been in America, I've kind of feel like I've been in like a fucking whirlwind of crazy. You've been in this country a lot longer, and you've also been dealing specifically with some really intense stories about America.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just wondering how you're feeling about this country right now with, because you're just dealing with purely the craziest bits of it. If you could answer in 30 seconds or less, that would be great.
Not wanting to offend people who may be of the other political persuasion.
They're not here.
No,
they're not. They listen to other shit.
It's fucking scary as shit. We are in horrible times. We are in the dark times. We have seen 60 years of progress, 70 years of progress flush down the toilet, and we gotta fucking fight back because it's just not right. And part of the problem, being in the documentary business, I think the one thing that has really, like, you can't put the social media genie back in the bottle, and there's lots of good things about social media, but I think what is deeply the core of the problem, like no other time in history, is that we have the death of truth. People wake up, half the country wakes up and says the sky is red on a myriad of issues. And if you can't agree on what the truth is, and if we don't know what the truth is, and if we have a president who says what he wants to say and people who line up behind him and nobody really understands what the truth is, that is the biggest threat to democracy and the biggest threat to civilization as we know it.
Yeah, I don't know how we come back from that, but as like someone like you who deals purely in facts, that's like it's a deeply strange place to be.
Oh, it's horrifying, Yeah. And newsrooms are closing, and people get their news from all sorts of unreliable sources, and there is no agreement on truth, and that is problematic.
And with that really upbeat ending to our interview, Joe, thank you so much. We're going to have you back at the end to quiz you some more. All right. Thank you. I think that way. I don't really know how you get off the stage, but I feel like, yeah. Oh my God. It is weird. Yeah, it is. I feel like when I made Tickled, I was like, that's the weirdest thing that's ever going to happen. And then here, it's like every day in America, there's something like way weirder than that shit. It's just an odd country you've got. That's my main takeaway. Rob.
Yes, I get introduced the next guest.
You do. I went on too long on my introduction, so I'm handing it over to you.
Mine's really short. I met this man in Denver last week at Red Rocks at the Dr. Dog show.
Uh-huh.
So naturally, I asked if he wanted to come be a guest here.
Course.
Chicago's a food town. I think it's the best food town.
Mm-hmm.
We've got our own hot dogs, our own deep dish, which you got to try this week.
Mm-hmm.
But you have not tried the Italian beef sandwich.
Oh, what kind of reaction? No, I haven't. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yep. Who better to teach us
but
about?
You met a man. Yeah. You met a man somewhere.
The Sandwich King.
A sandwich man.
Yes, he is the co-host of Food Network's The Kitchen, founder of Mauro Provisions, and co-host of the podcast Come On Over. He's known as the Sandwich King.
Hello.
Got Jeff Mauro here.
Jeff. Oh my God, who is this small child? Nice to see you, sir. Thank you so much, Calvin.
Hold on, I got the Chicago double gunslingers here. Boom. An anti-hero Jardinera. Boom, right.
Wow.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
What is you are a sandwich king. What does that mean? You said to me at
don't
backstage, you gave me some shit because you're like, you talked about Subway sandwiches and gave them a 10 out of 10. And you're like,
Did anybody listen to the Subway episode of the podcast?
Which David...
I was like, click.
David gives everything 10 out of 10.
He's a nice guy. I met him upstairs for the first time. I could see that he wants to be well liked, and I think that's a good strategy.
That's a great way to put it. Desperate for friends.
But a funny story, I did a commercial for Subway like 7 years ago, maybe. It was like through Food Network, and it was only shown on Food Network, but it was me in like a workout outfit with like a headband, sweatband. I was like, I'm going to eat fresh, right? And this was like I was like the first guy, like post Jared era.
That's dangerous territory, isn't it?
But then they made the offer. I was like, I think I can buy a house. So hey, eat fresh every day, everybody. I don't care. I bought a house. I didn't like buy the house, but it helped tremendously. It
was a down payment.
Exactly. So, I know you've probably never had an Italian beef. So that's what I brought here. That's your son, Kelvin. Give it up for Kelvin, who housed a half a beef sandwich upstairs. He's like, it's not spicy, because I have some of our honey G, which is like medium spiced up there. And then we were leaving with the sandwich. He's like, hey, Mom, can I have some water? I was like,
so what is this sandwich? Like, I don't understand what's the importance of what's happening here.
Well, it's like, if you look at the significance of like the Philly cheesesteak to Philadelphia, you look at other regions that have, even like a Mission-style burrito in San Francisco or a beef on weck on the East Coast. Like, you have all these emblematic sandwiches of the town, which is, that's the beauty of sandwiches. Like, every culture, country, continent, county, neighborhood, block, has their version of this that they grew up eating that they think is the greatest version of this sandwich or this, a particular sandwich that they love. And the Italian beef is, like, there's the hip burrito, there's the Chicago dog, there's deep dish. We saw you, I'm going to hit up your Airbnb later. I hate cold pizza, like thin crust pizza, but cold deep dish.
We have a lot.
Like when the cheese is, you got about 3/4 of an inch of a congealed cold cheese in the middle.
Horrific.
But I kind of rip it from like the crust corner in the back, and it's extra hard, so you get that little vertical shoot through the top of the roof of your mouth. It's a sport, man, and you got to be in shape. So just be careful tonight after that Malort. You're going back to that premium Airbnb, and you're ripping in that 2-day-old, Pequods with that caramelized Frico cheese crust. You're going to literally meet stitches, brother.
What? So where, like, this sandwich, like, deep dish is obviously, people keep rambling on about deep dish. Like, where does this sandwich, like, sit in the pride of this town?
Yeah, what's the origin of the Italian beef in Chicago?
There's a couple different, takes on the lore of the genesis of this. But
give us the
20s, somewhere around Taylor Street, Pasquale Scala, at the Scala House, right? I'm where my dad's, my family's from Taylor Street. My aunt still lives on Taylor Street. It's near and dear to me. So that's where I believe the Italian beef was invented. L's Beef, which is still on Taylor Street. It's moved to locations. What Johnny's is great. I live, a couple blocks away from Johnny's now.
Okay.
And if you step outside my house and the wind's blowing like due northwest, just the right speed, you can smell the sausage in the air. That's why I moved there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. That's why I didn't expect you to. You gave Subway a 10, so I don't think you're in the club. I'm kidding. You're beautiful. But so this is a way to get beef and meat and protein to hardworking, lower class Italian Americans taking a humble chuck roll or sirloin and cooking it low and slow so it's tender and it's rubbed to the gills with salt, pepper, herbs, aromatics, and cooking it low and slow. Taking all that juice, all the dripping from cooking that fatty piece of meat, putting water in it, right? And then shaving the cold beef after you kind of let it chill as thin as possible so you stretch it, right? So it's a real economical, parsimonious way to kind of get beef and protein in the meat packer of the world.
Stretch that beef out.
Stretch it out. Okay. Throw some peppers on there, which Chicago-style giardiniera is right? It's ours, and it's a way to get that spice and crunch and color, and for these little humble gardens that these immigrants were growing peppers and cauliflower and celery, and they'd have it for the whole year when it was winter. So you'd have this kind of from the garden, the actual translation of jardinera, which people on most coasts or throughout the country don't even know how to spell or say or use it. So that's kind of been my goal. But this Italian beef sandwich now you find it everywhere. You find it all shapes and sizes and forms. But you ask anybody that's from the Chicagoland area, and they're passionate about telling you what their favorite beef is, and you call it beef.
I'm gonna try one. I feel like you should chat amongst yourselves because I don't want this to be like ASMR where I'm chewing on the mic.
So this is my brand, right? So I make this beef. This is going to be very good because obviously I'm gonna say I made it. Duh. It's not honey chipotle turkey, but what it is USDA prime beef, and it's like there's no pump.
Oh, it's like a little. So it's in a hot dog bun.
Yeah. So I guess I got to describe it.
We use very moist.
It's a French roll. That's a 4-inch hinge.
Have I already insulted you?
Yeah, I mean it's not a hot. But I mean like
not a hot dog bun.
It's a hot dog bun.
I know you're from somewhere completely unique, but that's not a hot dog bun.
Okay, it's not a hot dog bun.
It's a wibbly wang, It's making shit up. No,
this is not a hot dog bun.
That's a Toronto roll, so it's a hinged.
It's filled with very thinly stretched beef.
Yeah, very. Well, we don't. No, the stretching is like the economical usage of the beef.
Oh, that wasn't.
No, we don't.
That was a
stretch the
metaphor.
beef.
I thought you'd physically stretch the meat.
In TV when they they always do stretch it. That's never been my problem with my mouth.
Okay, I understand.
They always wrap it up. So that's very thinly sliced USDA prime chuck roll, seasoned, and then you have the drippings and the gravy that we dunk the entire sandwich in, and then put the jardinera peppers on. So it's so thin, it melts in your mouth.
Yeah. Can you tell him about jardinera? He does not know what it is.
No, I think I want you to just try it on its own too. That's our hot jardinera. So this is like something that they have in Subway. Growing up, Subways had jardinera, right? So when I lived in California for 4 godforsaken years, and the guy's like, "What do you want on your sandwich?" I'm like, "Well, jarred." And he's like, "I don't know what that is." You get banana peppers, right? So he. Oh, that's I got you, Rob. I know you don't live here anymore. It's been a while. I'm sure the Sox are proud. Big Frank is like, fuck. Shaking his head at you. So this is a pickled and lacto-fermented medley of peppers and vegetables, right? Mm-hmm. So it's alive. So you can keep this it changes, right? Even if you move it, you can kind of see some bubbling happen,
it's alive.
Right? So it's like a fermented food, but it's packed in oil, not vinegar. So vinegar kills everything, but the oil kind of keeps it dynamic and evolving.
It's a creature.
So you keep it in your fridge.
It's got a heartbeat.
It does. It's got a soul to it.
Okay, feed it to me. Come on,
let's do a little bit.
Americans love talking shit up so much, hey?
I know.
Occasionally exactly. I'm just like, feed it to me, bro. I'll eat it.
I mean,
in New Zealand,
first of all, Joe's talk up was about 4 minutes long. Mine was about 6 seconds. He makes sandwiches. I think you might know him. And Rob did it. So you even took a time out. Yeah. Don't think I didn't watch it. I was like, I can't wait to be talked up by this guy. What a nice fella. Again, just wants to be liked. All of us. That's why we're here right now. It's the only reason we're on stage.
Desperate. Okay, do I just shoot it?
It's not, do a little Malort floater on there for him, Rob. You give him the whole experience. I want to see him shit his pants before he gets on that Economy Plus flight home.
We're not all celebrity chefs, okay?
Yeah, I know.
Some of us make a podcast.
So what do you think? No, I'm curious. It's got crunch. It's got color.
This is great.
It's good, right?
This is a great vibe. What am I doing with this? Am I putting it on things, or am I just eating it out of a cup?
Obviously, besides this, right? A sub sandwich, a turkey sandwich. I put it on top of pasta.
That's great. It's got kick.
Eggs, right? Cheesy scrambled eggs in the morning. On top of avocado toast. You put it on a little bagel with the little schmear cream cheese. Lightens it up, right?
Exactly.
I mean, there's really nothing you can't put it on savory that doesn't make it. colorful.
I've got
crunchy.
a sweet tooth. Could I put it on like my little sweet muffin or something? Like, is there anything sweet?
Who's your sweet? Who's this fella? Who's your sweet muffin?
No,
I
it's
wanna learn more
literally
about
like
him.
it's like. Do you have muffins in America? They're
Yeah,
like
we do
a
have
little-
muffins.
It's like a
we figured it out.
cupcake.
I think 78, right along the time of the Tylenol murders, they discovered muffins. It was wild.
Could I put it on something sweet, or that's a no-no?
No, totally. I mean,
okay.
people have put we made a. I have. If you guys stick around for the Q&A, which I hope everybody. I got a ton of stuff to give away, so I have some jardinera and some of our rubs. But we made a honey G, which is a medium spiced jardinera relish packed in grade A honey, so it gives you that sweetness. That'll go good with a little, like a bran muffin or like a malt, like a.
I can do that.
You know, like a seedy muffin with a little salted room temperature butter, like that thick, and then you throw that on.
Okay.
Oh, Maron.
Sold.
That's good.
Look, my hands and face are so greasy now from all of this. I'm like panicking to use my laptop. Thank you. I have like one more guest to bring on, so I'm gonna, if it's okay with you, I'm gonna send you off, but bring you back on again really soon, like so soon. Thank you.
I literally just got bumped for a possum.
Spoiler alert, incoming. This segment is arguably a little bit risky, but Rob and I just thought, like, why not? As you'll be aware if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, I'm very charmed by the American opossum. Cheers for the possum. While it looks hideous, it's actually one of the sweetest, most misunderstood creatures in America. All bark and no bite. And most importantly, its body temperature is so low it doesn't carry the rabies virus. So, in essence, I wanted to get here in Chicago a possum on stage. And so I reached out to Nina Salem, great surname, very American, of the Insect Asylum. Nina is a taxidermist and runs an incredible taxidermy museum / animal sanctuary / community space.
She gave us the peacock and the owl here.
The birds are from her. And tonight she's agreed to come here with Opal, a hideous, terrifying opossum. Nina, you're welcome to the stage anytime. I know you're wrangling things, so that's an added level of stress. You're not bringing on a sandwich. You're bringing on a really intense...
it looks like we've got a snake.
Okay. I've got some news. Oh, okay, so come over here.
We got bowls.
Tiny child. I don't know what's happening, because I wasn't expecting a snake. Vincent.
That's
Oh
Calvin.
my God, face blind and panicking. Calvin. Doesn't bite? Thank you. I think. Thank you so much. What a little guy. Oh my God. Nina, hi.
Hi, friends. How are you?
What's happening over here in my hands?
So you have Houdini, who is our corn snake.
Okay.
And he is very friendly. You're A-okay, my friend.
I'm good. We don't have snakes in New Zealand, so this is a unique experience for me. Is this American or non-American?
So they are native to America. They're most commonly found in like places like Florida, but they can be anywhere along the eastern coast, and they can also be found here in the Midwest.
Is there any chance he'll bite, or is he fine?
Well, I get this question a lot, and actually, all animals bite. In fact, you bite.
Oh, wow.
But what I can say is... I am fairly confident that if you don't bite my snake's not going to bite you.
Okay, I like this. And no, legitimately amazing. It feels like he's so warm. Like he's quite warm and cuddly in a way. Like he's hugging my hand.
They are the world's best huggers, for sure, like hands down.
And tell me about Opal over here, because I'm trying to champion the possum. Can you just tell me how Opal came to you and what's going on here?
Absolutely. So Opal here is North America's only marsupial.
Thank you.
Yeah. And she's about a year old, and she came to us from a friend who helps animals find their way to our sanctuary program. Mm-hmm. So she needed some love and attention, and we have a no questions asked surrender space, and so she was one of the animals adopted into our program.
I feel like they are an incredibly misunderstood creature, and for people that haven't listened to our episode about the opossum, like, what do you think is one of the biggest misgivings about these creatures?
Oh, there's a handful of them. I think one of the things that people don't understand a lot about opossums is one, their lifespan is very small. So most opossums in the wild are very lucky if they hit 2 years old. In fact, a majority of them only live to be about 6 months.
They're so sad. It's so short.
I know, it's so sad. Well, they're considered a nuisance animal. And so people think they're incredibly cute. However, when they're living in your garage or your backyard or under your deck, oftentimes they call animal control and these guys get put down constantly. They're also scavengers, so every time that you put poisons out for rats, you're also affecting other species like opossums. They have a very, very low blood temperature, so they are not considered to be rabies vectors, which, if you don't know what a vector is, it's an animal that can carry rabies, because the rabies disease can't really survive under their hostile conditions of their beautiful, amazing blood.
Yeah, I mean, they're just here basically to clean up after us and be cute. And I feel like any angst they give off is just like a defense mechanism. They bare their teeth. They're just being stay away from me, please. But they're not going to even bite you.
I like to call it crocodile mouth.
Crocodile mouth. Look at him. Who out there doesn't like this fucking creature? Anyone? No. Beautiful. So look, just quickly, I want to do a PSA. If you find one of these creatures in distress, what should you do? A local shelter? You check the pouch for babies, right? That's
so
the
there's
thing?
a handful of things that you can do. The very first thing would be to assess the situation. My very first thing that I say to anybody when they call me about wildlife is, what is the situation? Is this a dead opossum on the side of the road? Because if it's so, then yes, check the pouch for babies. They are marsupials, so their babies do grow in their pouch externally. And they could be as size of a jelly bean, or they could be as big as a small mouse or rat. Second thing is if there's an...
Oh, he's yawning.
Oh, yeah. Those are stupid cute. Second thing that we identify is this an orphaned animal? Is it actually an orphaned animal? Is the mother going to come back? So we often do recommend for people to put the animal in a safe space in the shade and wait for mama to return. If mama doesn't return in a few hours, then we recommend you get them to a licensed wildlife rehabber. I am a licensed wildlife rehabber. I'm here in the city of Chicago, and you can call our museum at any point in time with your questions. If it's something I can't help you with, I guarantee you I have the resources to help provide you assistance. So if it's something that my museum can't personally take in, we have access to a lot of other rehabbers in the area that might be able to assist you. Like right now, currently, we can't take in any birds. Avian bird flu is really strong.
No, the snake will eat them.
He's going in your sleeve.
No, we actually just have some other birds in our unit that are quite
Okay.
susceptible to things. So
Okay. The snake is going up my sleeve. Is that fine?
Oh yeah, he loves to tunnel, and you must be super warm. If you want, you can just
I'm okay.
remove your sleeve, or he's really good at tickling your elbow and your weenus. So
It's
he's going
kind of
for
a
right
wild
here.
sensation. I'm just going to go with it. You're here. I
Yeah.
feel safe. I think this is as good a time as any to maybe bring our other guests back, and maybe we do the weirdest Q&A of all time.
Love it.
Are you okay staying, or do you need to can you stay on stage? Or
Oh,
do you
I can
need-
absolutely stay on stage.
Everyone
we're
seems happy,
we're super
right?
cozy right now.
Okay, so I would like to welcome Joe and Jeff back on stage if they're nearby. If they're not, they can be traveling. The snake is it's under my armpit, and it's a real feeling. I don't not like it. It's just different, you know? And Opal seems so happy over there right now, like the happiest I've ever seen in a possum.
She's a very sweet girl.
Oh my God, I don't know what to say. I'm spellbound. Is there any chance that Opal will bite?
So, yes, Opal has been known to nibble. We had another opossum named Hazel. She was our sweet baby, Hazel May. And she never bit. She had a completely different personality. However, Opal thinks that almost anything in the universe could possibly be a snack. So,
that's the right place to be. Just pick up the American doll and it can sit on your lap or wherever you want. Welcome back. Hi, I'm so sorry. I'm face blind. I called you by your brother's name, which is so offensive. And I'm so sorry, Calvin. I'm face blind. Yeah, it's a problem.
Wait. Calvin's got a question.
Please, Calvin.
Come to the mic.
How old can a snake live?
That is a really good question. Some snakes can live about 20 years.
That's so long.
Is that it?
How long can a possum live?
Yeah.
Well, the oldest living opossum was 4 years and 3 months old. My last opossum, Hazel May, made it 3 whole years.
It's not long at all. Great questions.
I'm glad I'm not a possum.
Same. It's such a short lifespan.
Yeah, she was about 3 years and 9 months old. So she didn't make it to that 4-year mark, but she had a really good life.
Okay.
Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
Enter the world of sports the way you want with EA Sports College Football 26. Whether you rise through the ranks as a coach or chase greatness from high school recruit to Heisman, build your legacy and wear your colors with pride. Buy College Football 26 now at go.ea.com/MVP-bundle and bring glory home today. EA Sports College Football 26 is rated E for everyone. Includes in-game purchases, including random items.
I'm going to open up things to you, the crowd. Maybe if you just want to raise a hand and you're going to have to yell and I'm going to repeat the question to the microphone. There's a gentleman in a beautiful black and red swan-dry-esque top and a hat. Yes, sir, stand. So swan-dry is a New Zealand term for the top you're wearing. Sir, yell. What could we do at home in our yard to make things more friendly for the opossum?
Well, the first thing that you could do is if you have a lot of brush nearby, leave it. It's good for the opossums. It's also good for the native insects. So when you're cleaning up your yard, just put everything into one spot and allow it to naturally decompose. That provides shelter. Second thing is just make sure that your yard is free of toxins. Chemicals don't really help much these days, and there's lots of other ways that you can mitigate problems. If you have questions after the show, you can always call the museum, and we would love to give you suggestions. But those are 2 things that you can do. Also, just make sure that there's no sharp glass and things like that.
Thank you so much. Anyone else with a question for a guest? Have you ever put giardiniera on your pizza, and when you crave a pickle, where do you go?
Not a pickle, an Italian beef.
That's right.
Okay. I don't know. It's all fucking foreign to me.
Thank you. Johnny's beef, probably number 1. Number 2, L's beef. Number 3, Jay's beef. And then number 4, I'll make my own beef at home. But I eat this stuff so much.
What do you mean by that? Make your own beef at home? Are you killing a cow or something?
No, I do.
What do you mean, make your own beef?
Table, brother. No, I'll make this beef. It comes in a little package with the gravy on the side, so you can make it at home. It's very easy to do. So I'll make it but yeah, I put giardiniera on the pizza all the time, and I think it's best when it's baked into the pizza. So when you order your sausage, a giardiniera pizza, and it's baked in, and it's like, you know, that oily, colorful crunch. It just seeps into the dough and the cheese, and you
Beautiful.
take a bite. You would be, I mean,
That sounds good.
It would be way too much for you after this visit. You might want to do it next year.
No, I'm into this. The snake has moved out of my... Okay,
It's inside you right
going
now.
under the leg. Any true crime-esque related questions? Ma'am, you're in a black T-shirt maybe, white graphic. What's your question? Yeah, during the conversation series that you've made, what was one of the facts or the things that kind of like stuck with you and jumped out?
I think just the idea that how people present themselves and how deceived the friends and family are, it's unnerving, you know, like the people, all of these people that I've profiled, you know, were active in their community, you know, had friends, had associates. It's a little scary. That's the thing I always remind myself, and why I want to keep doing this, is you just have to remind people.
When you were talking about your daughter earlier and like this idea of warning young people about this stuff, are there any tells or things you would say to people of just like, do you need to quiz your friends a bit more? Is it like doing a better Google search? Like anything?
Just use common sense and don't put yourself in weird, situations. It's
and we're in America where people are going to do it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, but I hate giving that message too, because, I remember when I was in my 20s and backpacking around Europe and meeting somebody who invited me in. I had all these wonderful human experiences that I don't want to discourage people from having. It's not like you should like put a straitjacket on and never leave your home, but just use common sense. I mean, it's just be aware that these dynamics can happen.
And I would just say Google everyone that you meet if you don't already. It amazes me that people don't Google like names of dates they're going on. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Google everyone.
Yeah.
Ma'am, far end of the row. Yeah, as far as documentary with like the current administration and not particularly liking the truth, do you think documentary is at all under any kind of stress for getting funded and existing in the current climate, or is it thriving more than ever?
Well, I would say docutainment is thriving, and doing well. Hard-hitting political, social issue documentaries are in a very difficult spot for two reasons: the current climate politically, but also streaming has become such a juggernaut that they are looking to please a big global audience, and there's seems to be less and less room for investigative and more niche, quote-unquote, programming when you're dealing with, Netflix has 320 million subscribers around the world, and they're looking to please as many of those people as possible in order to maintain their market share. So Netflix used to be wanting to be all things to all people, program all sorts of different content. But generally speaking, I happen to be a beneficiary of it because I do a lot of crime. But these days, the focus is on celebrity biopics, sports, cults, and crime. I mean, those are the things that sell to the big streamers. So serious, hard-hitting, investigative reporting is under, I think, serious attack. PBS is being challenged and losing its funding. The entire entertainment business is in a struggle for survival because streaming has, destroyed a lot of traditional outlets. So on the one hand, documentary has never been more popular. There's never been more opportunities for a documentarian compared to 30 years ago, but the content has become very narrow, which is a concern.
The snake is like, it sounds like a gag, but it's like approaching like my butthole. Like it's like behind, the head is like nosing down the back of the pants.
It really is.
So you gave such a great answer, and I cheapen it with saying a snake is approaching my butthole. Right in the middle, glasses, hand up, yell. Is cheese on beef sacrilegious?
So what he means is like, if you can order a cheesy beef at some places like L's, you can order a cheesy beef. Johnny's, you cannot order. I say about 50-50 you can order.
That's a
Not
cop
saying
out.
you should,
50-50 is a cop out.
It is, but it really is.
Okay.
40-62. It's... No, I've never ordered it in person. Have you ordered a cheesy beef? Yeah, but you felt ashamed, didn't you? I saw you backstage. You order what the fuck you want to order. I know you. This guy knows how to order beefs, but I don't know. It does work if it's like good, like sharp provolone, adds to the sandwich and gives it that kind of trying to make the big fella feel good about himself tonight. All right.
I love the controversy. They say, like, making a hit podcast, you've got to have controversy. So there, we've got it. Beat cheese on beef. You decide. Okay. We've got time for a few more questions because I know it's getting late. Right there in the black top. Rob, did you take David to Wood Fields?
No, we did not. We did not go to the suburbs this trip. It's a mall. It's a big mall. By
A big
where I
mall.
grew up.
I love a mall. Next time, part 2, Chicago. Hand raised at the back. Yeah, you. Yeah, go. Okay, we have apparently there are a lot of rats in Chicago. How do we kind of like help them and be sensitive to them, but we don't want them in our houses all the time? What do we do with the rat?
So
Anyone can answer.
There's an incredible woman here in Chicago. Her name is Sherry, and I can connect you with her. She advocates for rat birth control. It is super effective, and it significantly reduces the amount of rats and also the amount of fatalities of poisoning of other animals.
Wait, I have so many questions. You can't just say
rapid fire.
rat birth control. Like that's like
let's
what?
go.
So you're getting an individual rat, and sort of putting it under surgery and operating?
No, it's actually, there are pellets of food that you place down in your alleys, very similar to how you would place down your rat poisons. The rats eat them, and it produces a birth control effect for the rats, significantly reducing their population numbers. Now, you take out one rat, sure, you got rid of one rat, but if you have one rat that you can make sure that it doesn't have 100 babies, now you're helping solve a lot of problems. The cool thing about this birth control is any other animal can eat it, and it won't affect them negatively.
Holy shit,
So
this is amazing.
if your
Thank
cats, you got those alleyway cats that you love so much, you put out those cute little houses for and leave food around that feed the rats ultimately. When you use rat birth control, you are making sure that you're not poisoning all those other really cute animals that we all know and love.
That
Squirrels,
is like an
raccoons,
unbelievably
opossums,
good answer to that
birds.
question.
Yeah.
Rat birth control. Okay, two more questions. Hand up, you got a shirt on, stripy. Hello. Rob, what band were you living in that nightmare house with the scary attic?
It was a band called Company of Thieves, which the drummer's around here somewhere right now.
Wow.
Right there.
Okay, final question. Make this really good, because if this is a bad question, the whole night will be remembered by your question. And so feel free to drop your hand now. You are very confident. You're in the front row. I think you deserve a good question.
Good one.
Where is the snake now?
That's private.
That is a really good question.
That was a really good final question. Look, I want to thank Joe, Jeff, and Nina for agreeing to turn up tonight. I want to thank Dr. Manhattan for the amazing music and theme song. Thanks to this venue, Park West, holy shit. Also to my colleagues, Billy, he edits this show. Andrew does our graphics for YouTube. I never thank them enough. Natalie backstage was doing all the wrangling. And, there's someone else. Who could it be?
The White Sox.
The White Sox? Yeah, no, thanks to White Sox. Our corporate overlords, the White Sox. And no, you, Rob. Because, without you, this whole show would definitely not happen. And I'm, very grateful that you, make this thing happen. So thank you, Rob. And thank you for turning up tonight and taking a gamble on us, all you wonderful guests. The lights are gonna dim, we're gonna leave, I'm gonna remove the snake.
We're gonna throw some shirts and stuff.
We're gonna throw some shirts now. Yeah, we're gonna throw some shirts out to you. I'm gonna let them take over because I'm gonna deal with the snake.
Calvin, what can you tell me about Chicago?
That's really fun. There a lot of water parks. All my cousins live here. My Nana lives here. My papa lives here. My mom's sister lives here. A lot of people live here.
Do you like coming to visit Chicago?
Yeah, it's my favorite place to visit.
What else do you like about Chicago?
There's a lot of good music from Chicago.
Like what?
Like Wilco, Dr. Manhattan, Andrew Bird.
What else do you like about Chicago?
I like the really good food, the cool museums and buildings, and my Aunt Gabby does a boat tour.
Is there anything else you want to tell people from Chicago?
I love your city. I can't wait to come back next summer. Thanks for coming. Like and subscribe.
Oh, hi. Just please stay seated, okay? Don't get up. Do not get up. This is Pootie. I'm Andrew. We represent our band, Dr. Manhattan. We're doing a little something fresh for y'all tonight because normally we are 4 people. We're just totally flipping the whole thing around, just going with it. So, love to you guys. Thanks for being here. Hey! Oh, I remember how it was. Oh, innocent in September. Oh, and I did it just because. My Pootie. I was in a little man. My Pootie. And that was true. My Pootie. And I don't remember. I remember it was you. That's nice. That's really nice. That's really nice. I really need that release, my Pootie. Me too. We really need that thing. Yeah, we do. We really need it. Oh, I'm gonna bring it back the drums. Yeah. I think of us in September. Can you get it up? Standing outside in the rain. Can you get it up? All the things that I remember. Can you get it up? Let go of all the pain. Can you get it up? And it's gonna be displayed. Can you get it up? And I never know the pain. Can you get it up? And I'm gonna be displayed. And I never know the pain. Fuck eyes. The fuck me twice. Motherfuck eyes. Motherfuck ice. Ooh, fuck me twice. Fuck ice. Fuck ice, baby. Oh. Hold me close. I'll be close. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Did you hear I threw in a little fuck ice in there? That felt good. We got a band together. You guys want to join Dr. Manhattan? You guys can all be in the band. We make up music as we go. It's all improvised at the moment. It's from the heart. What you thought is Wednesday, and it's all coming true. all the shit that your friends say when they talk about you. And I thought it was worth it. I live and it's like I'm never gonna see you again. Are you losing friends? For forever it seems we could bend into the It turned out it was Enid, and you thought that you knew. You'd believe if you'd seen it. What's a thought supposed to do? And I thought it was perfect. Like I'm never gonna see you again. Are you losing friends? For forever it seems we could bend into Thank you.
I don't give a shit. Get out of my face. Talking that bullshit. I just want more friends. I just wanna love.
I just wanna love.
I just want some sex.
I just want some sex.
I just want some fun.
I just want some fun.
I just want some love.
I just want some love.
Can you give me? We're like the Ramones up in this bitch. Woo! Every single day.
Give us another verse.
I don't really know, but I don't really know, but I don't really know, but I think I really know. I know a lot, it's in myself. I know a lot, I don't make it up, but I make it up as I go along. And I just do it right, and I do it right for my family, for my friends and my people. I want you to be all of my friends now. No! Even a bit of sound. Damn it, that's alright. Give me that love. Give me that love.
No rain, no flowers. No rain, no flowers. That was made up. Let's make up another one. Should we get a...
Free bird.
She's free. Let her fly. Why not? Why is why?
I got it.
She's free. Spread her wings.
I'm as free as a bird now. And this bird you cannot change.
She's free.
I'm as strange as a bird now.
She's strange.
And this bird you cannot change.
Bird. Dear Mama, do you like my podcast? I really like it when I need to turn something on. I need some silly information. I don't like radio, I turn on Spotify. But fuck that shit, it's capitalism. Pay attention to the podcast, I like to play my songs. Some call us Dr. Manhattan, some call us friends. I'm going to a PlayStation festival tonight. Welcome to Flightless.